The greatest advice Scarf can give you: don't get sick. It sucks. The next part is supposed to be like, well, that and don't get gonorrhea or something. Like, obviously not that, but, well, that and something. And then that something's going to be the punchline. But Scarf ain't smart enough to think of a punchline because Scarf is sick. Welcome, friends. Lost Scarf here, and it's time for the vlog. I just recorded a 50-minute version of this vlog that you're not going to see because it's just me ranting. So, Scarf is sick with the flu. And what the flu has done is it has caused Scarf some problems. I was going to take I took a physical on the 11th, and the idea was, do this physical, and then I'll have the physical done, I'll be cleared to work, and then we'll start seeing Scarf working soon. The flu happened. So going back a couple timelines, because of the fact of, didn't do a podcast last week, or a vlog last week, might not do a podcast this week, because of the flu. The shooting happens, right? The shooting in Vegas, my dad was in Vegas, that thing happens, we'll talk about that later. But that happens, my dad deals with a whole lot of crap, it's very exhausting, very tiring. My dad hadn't slept for 2 days, he's in Vegas, the shooting happens, he's in Vegas, he's all freaked out by it and everything, he doesn't sleep for a day or two. He picks up the flu in Vegas. I pick him up from the airport, the only thing to talk about is the shooting, so he talks about the shooting, I let him talk because, well, he was there, so let him vent it out. And that's the point of entry for the flu to get to me. Going later down the week, I get called. So there's the full-time job that's coming, and I had a temp job for the Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday. I get called for the temp job. They say the job got canceled. This was a temp job for the blood bank, so I'm assuming the blood bank job got canceled because they're busy dealing with Vegas. And so that job gets canceled. And after that call's over, an hour later, I start getting flu-like symptoms. So it's like, well, that's interesting. And on Friday, I wake up and I cannot move. I can't do anything. I can't do a damn thing. Head's pounding. I'm coughing. I am completely plugged up. All I feel is pain. And I can't move for crap. I can't do a damn thing. And I do the first stupid mistake, and that is I don't get water or Gatorade or anything. I don't grab anything. I just lay there and try to keep sleeping it off. And my health is deteriorating. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And finally the realization is, oh my god, I'm dehydrated. So I drink a bunch of water, I drink Gatorade, I drink a bunch of stuff. And it's just trying to sleep through pain for hours and hours. And just boiling hot is how I felt. And after that first 24 hours, the fever finally breaks. And it's just, oh my god, 24 hours, I thought I was going to die. I really, really thought I was going to die. Because I'm an idiot for not getting hydrated, for one. And just, oh my god, it was just so strong. So that was Friday, 24 hours of that. Saturday is just awake, try to eat something. I eat like oatmeal, and my stomach just feels like it wants to die. So it's like, alright, that's not good. And just trying to sleep through the pain, and it's like, okay, I should maybe take some NyQuil or something, so I take NyQuil, and it's just sleeping. And then sleeping, and sleeping, and sleeping, and sleeping. After 72 hours, finally healthy enough to eat, still sick as all balls, and holy crap, the flu sucks, oh my god. So, my existence for a couple days was just sleep and pain, and that sucks. Do not get the flu, guys and gals. Oh my god. And so it just feels like a weird fate thing in that this job I was going to do got canceled right when I get sick. And I would have tried to do the job while sick, and I would have freaking died. So it's a good thing that didn't happen. And then the physical comes up on the 11th. That's this Wednesday. The physical happens. I do the physical. I can do everything, but there's a breathing thing. There's a thing in a physical called a PFT where you put your mouth on a thing and you blow. And you blow as hard as you can for as long as you can. And I kept coughing through it and coughing through it. And they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to have to just stop the physical for now because you can't do the physical. So I can't finish my physical right now because of my damn flu. Still sick. They're like, just come back when you're over the flu. And so right now, I can't get the job going until I get this damn physical done. And I can't because of the stupid flu. So It's a weird problem. But what that causes is that means Scarf ain't going to be working in October. So since Scarf ain't working in October, we'll see me working in November probably. And so what that means is Scarf will be able to just full-time do Destiny 2, which is on the 24th, Wolfenstein 2, which is on the 27th. Super Mario Odyssey is on the 24th or 27th or something, so there's that. And then in November is Battlefront 2. So I've beaten a dead horse with the Shadow of War, but let's talk about it again really quick. I was going to do a podcast with Jaggerist, could not do it because I was too damn sick. We were going to talk about Shadow of War and all that stuff. And we've talked about Shadow of War so many times, it's just a dead horse, but I am just, when it comes to things, it is important to have your own moral code, I guess, and live with it, and be okay with who you are and what you do with it and all that stuff. For me, the whole the donation to get that orc for that developer who died, that was the last straw. And for me, that's where I drew the line and will not be playing Shadow of War. That's what I've said a few times, and that's what it is. Total Biscuit, when they fixed that, it was okay for him, so he has gone ahead and played Shadow of War. But for me, the line was already crossed, so that's where it is, not doing Shadow of War. Who does Scarf look up to? I look up to Total Biscuit, I look up to Jim Sterling, Angry Joe, when it comes to just calling bullshit. And so I watch their things on things like that. I watch a couple other people, lesser knowns. I also watch like Watch Culture Gaming and stuff. And so I like seeing people's different opinions and thoughts and everything. And there's going to be always a lot of overlap because these guys are all very much, for consumer and stuff like that. And so they're against all the anti-consumer things that Shadow of War has done. And so why talk about it if all these other names are talked about? And it's just because, well, it's still at the end of the day your own opinion. So you should still state it so you're not, not a person who doesn't have any actual thoughts. But opinions are unique, even if they're about the same subject and fall in the same line. It's still your opinion, so it's always worth still having it. I rail against the whole thought of people should not be stating their opinions. I'm very much against that. Like, you should. Sometimes they're terrible. Sometimes they're very Nazi-level opinions, but it's better to know where someone stands, not know where they stand, and then get stabbed in the back by a Nazi. We have Nazis in America. We're going to talk about that with Wolfenstein, basically. So I thought Shadow of War was going to be the worst, because it's very egregious to do loot boxes in a single-player game. They tacked on some multiplayer thing for the whales and everything, but it's just egregious. It's so stupid. And then the donation thing put it over the top and was last straw for me. I thought Shadow of War was going to be the worst. Like, you got the Forza 7 bullcrap, that's terrible. You got the 2K bullcrap, that's also terrible. Those are really bad practices as well, but I thought Shadow of War was the worst, especially because of the donation thing. Loot box and single-player game, pretty bad. What put over the top was the donation thing. And then Battlefront 2 comes out with pay to win. And I was sick for most of it, but I spent a bunch of hours when I was finally healthy enough to eat. And I really enjoyed playing Battlefront 2, when it's also a really bad game. Pay to win in Battlefront 2 is ridiculous. I can't believe that's a thing. That takes the cake away from Shadow of War. It's just, wow. That's not good. That's not good at all. I can't believe it. You can watch the people I already said for them showing the evidence on it. I played it myself. I saw that. I knew what it was the second I was playing. I'm like, oh my god, really? You gotta be kidding me with this. This is what they're doing, and this is what they're doing. It's pay to win. The only way to progress in the game is through the loot boxes. You can earn the currency for the loot boxes in-game, but you can also buy them. And that's how you have pay to win. Because somebody with money is going to keep buying these loot boxes until they get the really sweet stuff that makes their characters really strong. On day one, we're going to see people with ridiculously strong star cards, which is going to make them dominate everyone else. And it's going to be really freaking frustrating to fight against. That's going to suck. That is terrible. And so, if Battlefront 2 was multiplayer only, we would not buy this game. But I still want to buy the game for the single player. I really want to see the single player. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good. And if it's not, then I'm going to be frustrated and furious. Talking about the demo, campaign for Theed, the airship battle, strike, and then the arcade mode. Those were the things that were offered to do. My feeling about Battlefront 2 is they spent so much time and so much detail on this thing, but at the same time, it's really lazy and sloppily made, and it's really frustrating. It's really weird. It's really, if you played it, tell me if you didn't notice these things. Let's go over the campaign first. So it's Battle with Theed, droids versus clones, and the clones say very cloney things, and it's awesome. The droids say very droidy things, and it's awesome. Roger, Roger, why? And all the other lines that drones say. It's great. It's just so fun playing a droid. It's awesome. The combat's fun. It's a pain in the ass to see people at times, though, because everything blends in. But for the most part, the map is just bland, and you can't tell where the hell you are without the radar. You really cannot. And John Woo got a tribute here, apparently, because there are dubs everywhere. There are freaking dubs freaking out and flying away everywhere. Everywhere. There are dubs everywhere. There is, like, dust blowing everywhere. There are leaves blowing everywhere. What the fudge is going on here? Like, at the start, dubs just freak out and fly away, and that should have been it, and it's just a battlefield, and there you go. There was nice little touches with the little R2 unit kind of droids screaming and freaking out and going around. That was cool, but there's all these little details, and then there's just a lot of just a big mess of nothing. It's very bland. The map is extremely bland. It's not that great. Not a lot of really good landmarks. You don't really know where you are. I had fun playing. I had fun shooting things, but it was just so sloppily made. You don't really know where the hell you are unless you're looking at the damn map. Or you look at the center to know where the hell the enemy is, or look at the objectives. The objectives are very poorly mapped out, very poorly explained. You don't know what the hell you're doing until you know what you're doing, and that takes a while. Air battles are an afterthought. There's no freaking reason to have them in this, like, at all. Like, a space battle should be an actual space battle, not this little crappy air support crap that means nothing. It's very frustrating. When the MGMT gets in, when you're in Phase 2, there are parts of the map, when you spawn in, that are just dead ends, that are just shouldn't even be there. They should have been shaved off, or put with a no zone, or just you can't spawn in these areas, because it's really dumb when you spawn and you walk into a dead end. And you will do it repeatedly. And it's just a lazy, sloppy thing to not have those parts shaved off. I don't know why those are there. And then it's the battle itself, the concept itself, and the balance of it, and I only saw the droids win once out of 20 to 40 games. Like, I can't remember how many matches I did. I did a lot of matches, and the droids only won once. Not very well balanced there. It was fun being Darth Maul, it was fun being Rey, it was fun being Han, it was fun being Boba Fett, but the map was just not great, and I kind of wish the two sides were a little more asymmetrical. Like, they're basically the same. Aside from your hero units and some of the reinforcements, you're the same base 4 on both sides. And it was like a little boring by having it that way, but eh. And so I had fun playing, but I was also kind of just bored with it, and at the same time seeing the superior cards other people had, and how much more ridiculous it made them was a bit annoying as well. For the most part, I had fun with it, though. Space battles, same thing. You don't really know what the hell is going on. You don't know where the hell you are, really, when you're running around and everything. It's fun as hell flying around killing people. It's really fun doing that. The one thing I think that I like more about space battles over campaign is there are AI enemies as well, and AI allies. So there's just more on the screen fighting, which is really cool. Or I feel like that should be a thing in the campaign mode as well, where you just feel like there's more going on. Because there's times when this big old map, which is supposed to have two big armies fighting, feels empty. And so it would be nice to have some AIs running around as well. Then there's arcade mode, which is like these little instances, these little scenarios, and they just feel like afterthoughts. They're not all that interesting. They're just things to do, and it's very slow, and I feel like the UI and the menu and everything should be really fast with the arcade mode, so that you're not just spending half your time waiting for loading and just sitting there waiting for UI to update and stuff like that. It just wasn't very good. Then there's the strike, which is 8 on 8. And the way it goes is one team is going into this base, taking an artifact and taking it back to a point to finish the match and win. While the other team is just defending. That's all they got to do. And it's really stupid. You go into a base where the enemy is spawning to take the artifact. So you're going into a spawn where everyone's spawning around to take a thing. And you got to take it back to another point. And this point is, again, the spawn of the defending team. So you're running through spawns aggressively to win the game. Contextually, this is stupid. Gameplay, this is stupid. You're in a forest. It's really hard to tell what the hell is going on in this forest. There are landmarks, but not enough of them. You don't know where the hell you're really going in these damn things. The only reason why you know where anything is because of the objective markers. That's the only reason why you know where anything is. So it's a little annoying, a little frustrating with just how sloppy the gameplay is in these different ways. And just how stupid the gameplay is on the strike. Go into spawn, enemy spawn, go into enemy spawn. That's how you're supposed to somehow win. And I never saw attack win. Defense was always camping because you have to camp, and defense never lost. Offense gets a rocket trooper and a flamethrower guy. Flamethrower guy is worthless. He takes 3,000 points to use, and he's worthless. His flamethrower does not do that much damage. He's very slow on his mobility. He's worthless. He's freaking worthless. Other team gets rocket troop and Chewbacca. I don't know if it's Chewbacca. I think it's just a Wookiee, but it's Chewbacca. And so they're more effective, and it's more fun to be the defending team. Battlefront 2 looks like it's going to just be Battlefront 1 again, where people are going to have fun for a little while, and then they're just going to peace out, and that's it. And that's going to suck. Because here's what's going to happen. If Battlefront 2 fails to impress and do really good, it's not going to be the loot boxes that get punished for this. It's going to be the single player. People, when playing 1, they said they really want a single player, so 2 listened and they bring in a single player. But you know how executives are. When something fails, they always pick the thing that isn't the problem. And so if Battlefront 2 fails, they're going to pick the single player to get cut out for 3. And that's going to be frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. I'm okay with Destiny 2 because it's all cosmetic. Jim Sterling's not okay with with cosmetic loot boxes. I am. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Destiny 2 going to be annoying about that. I just want to play Destiny 2. Mario Odyssey, of course, is going to be amazing. They're not going to push any DLC on you. That's going to be great. Wolfenstein 2. When Wolfenstein 2 put their ads out about killing Nazis, you had people on Twitter going like, oh, I know I'm not going to be following Bethesda anymore since they're getting all political. I understand if you're not a gamer and you hear this Nazi stuff and you're like, oh, great, this game thing's being political and all this bullcrap. I get that. If you know the name Bethesda, you know what the fudge Wolfenstein is. You know Wolfenstein has been a game about killing Nazis for almost 30 years. If you did not know Wolfenstein's about killing Nazis, how are you a gamer that doesn't know that? They've been killing Nazis for almost 30 years. I think it's like 26 or 28 years Wolfenstein's been around. It's been about killing Nazis for all of it. That or zombie Nazis. It's always been about killing Nazis. There's nothing political about this. There's nothing controversial about this. It's been about killing Nazis this whole damn time. And now you got people acting like it's political, like it's controversial, like it's a new thing that Bethesda's doing. It has always been Nazi killing. They've been killing Nazis for 20-something years. Almost 30 years. My country has a lot of problems. Let's move back to Vegas. What is so special about the Vegas one? And I don't think I said everything my dad said. So my dad was like, so this is a horrible thing. My dad's in Vegas when it goes down. All the casinos are shut down. Everything's shut down. No one's allowed out of the casinos. No one's allowed in the casinos. You're on your own. That's what's happening. And Vegas was shut down all night. All night. And part of the problem was social media was f***ing it up because rumors flying around. It wasn't just the Mandalay Bay. They thought there were shooters at Bellagio. They thought there were shooters at Caesar's Palace. They thought there were bombs planted all over Vegas. They thought it was a huge attack because there were people who were spreading these falsehoods thinking it was true, and there were people who were spreading the falsehoods themselves. Some of these people, they did it because they are people sowing chaos because they're pieces of shit. There are also people who did it because they're also pieces of shit because they thought it was hilarious. It's not funny. I know I was a dipshit when I was a kid. If I did that, I deserve dying of fire. I cannot believe that shit. The internet, social media especially, is a great source of rage and hate and so many bad things. And it happened that night as well. And it's just so frustrating. It extremely, extremely is. A bunch of people fucking died, and you had people just spreading these horrible things because they thought it was hilarious. There are times when I want the internet to be regulated because I don't want that horrible, monstrous thing to be a thing anymore. I really don't. Holy crap. It's nice having the internet be the Wild West, but more and more we see people with the power of anonymity, it's a hard word sometimes, anonymity, do horrible things. Crap, I'm using the F word now. And it's just horrible. It's just terrible. And it leads to wanting regulation because I hate seeing bad people have power. But the problem is this world has a lot of bad people with power. So you're screwed anyway, aren't you? This shooting happens, and the arguments come up again. And at this point, I feel like gun control people are just beaten. They're not willing to do anything. We're never going to do anything. More shootings happen, more and more and more and more and more shootings happen. And people try to change things, but people don't want to change anything. It's very lazy, and because of that, nothing's going to change, and we're just going to keep having these goddamn shootings, and it's very frustrating. The Second Amendment was made 200 years ago. It was made to make sure the crown couldn't come back. It was made to make sure the U.S. government didn't overstep itself. People have a right to have weapons. That's fine. Should they really have the right to have a weapon capable of what was done in Vegas? That's the question. When the shooting happened, you had people like this. This is the people I hate the most. You had the gun people who were like, look, if I was there, I had my gun, I would have been able to save the day. F*** you. It's how my cousin thinks, it's how my uncle thinks. They think if they had their gun, if they were at the shooting at a movie theater, if they're at the shooting at a school, they would whip out their gun and save the day. My cousin and uncle, my uncle's Navy, my cousin's Marine. They know what real combat is. And I absolutely hate this whole hero complex thing that they think with this. When the Vegas shooting happened, Die Hard wouldn't be able to save the day. Rambo wouldn't be able to save the day. None of that crap. The dude was shooting from the 32nd floor across the street at a concert. You could arm every single person at the concert. They would not be able to protect themselves. Pistols ain't going to be able to land a shot on a dude on the 32nd floor. I've fired pistols. Pistols suck at aim. They are not effective for a very far distance. You get a rifle, you could take him out. Who's going to have a rifle at a concert? How did they catch the guy on the 32nd floor? People called 911 on the 32nd floor. They said there's someone shooting guns. They're shooting down the hall. I think they shot somebody. Like, you could hear the 911 calls. They have them online. You can listen to them. And that's how they found him. How would you find this guy from the concert? How would you find this guy from the street? You gonna notice 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay? Someone with a gun? This is the scary thing is, yes, mental health is very important. Mental health is something that we should have investments in. Except, unfortunately, Congress just cut $5 million away from mental health funding. And yet, they, at the same time, are going to say we need to do more about mental health. But they took away some of the money for it. We keep saying it's mental health. Here's what it is. If it's a white man, it's mental health. If it's a brown man, it's a terrorist, or it's a thug. We talk about this knowing it. We know damn well that a white man doing this is never going to be called a terrorist. He's going to be called a man with mental issues, or a lone wolf, but they'll never call a white man a terrorist. Plenty of people in the public have said it, but the news won't say it. And it's terrible. But if he's brown, he's a thug. If he's brown enough, he's a terrorist. Just frustrating. Absolutely is. Going back to Wolfenstein, it's amazing how we have Nazis back in America. We glorified, for literal decades, killing Nazis. And we have brought back the Nazis. America itself has brought back the Nazis. And they think they're the good guys, despite the fact that this country itself has hammered in that the Nazis are the bad guys. My country has a problem. Trump's the president. Nazis are back. We won't do anything about shootings. Texas happens. Florida happens. Puerto Rico happens. The brown people aren't given aid. They're giving a loan. Trump took forever to get to Texas. Trump took forever to get to Florida. Trump took forever to get to Puerto Rico. Trump feuds with a mayor from Puerto Rico who's trying to save her people. Trump bitches about the national anthem and the NFL while we're worried about the aid with Puerto Rico and other places. If you think players kneeling at the NFL is about the flag, then you think Rosa Parks and everyone with the bus boycott was about buses. These players are not kneeling because they don't like the flag. They're not kneeling because they're against veterans. They're kneeling because the flag no longer represents what it should represent. That's why they're kneeling. There isn't a single player that is kneeling because they hate our veterans, because they hate our troops. They're kneeling because we are not the America we claim to be. The fact of the matter is we've always been this way. We've always been a double standard of a country. We've always said one thing and done the other. We've never been truly the heroes. We've always been the dumbass with all the weapons. And so everyone's scared of us and they do what we want because we're kind of scary. We're bullies. Not like Obama was sinless with all the drones and everything he did, but... And of course, with all the freaking... What was it? Prism? What was the name of it correctly? It was Prism, yeah. With how intrusive the government became under Obama. Okay. Of course, you had the Freedom... What was it called? The Freedom Act or whatever it is? After 9/11, we had the Freedom Act, which is extremely intrusive, Republican done. But then things got even worse under Obama with Prism and all that stuff, where things got even more infiltrating our lives and monitoring us even more. And we were okay with it. We're okay with it. We're okay with that. It's crazy. We talk about freedoms, but we're okay with being monitored. We're being monitored every day now. It's crazy. It's not a conspiracy thing either. It got put out there by damn Snowden, and people were okay with it. People were okay with it. It's crazy. My country's never been sinless, but I feel like it was a lot better back then than it is right now. And it's just worse and worse, and it's this damn fire hose of fake news and real news and hateful news and just so many things going on. And Trump is just pushing it even further, because every day you hear what Trump said. You hear the new outrage about what Trump said and this and that, and it's just so exhausting. So tiring. I feel like there's a couple of reasons why nihilism has really come up in a big way in the last couple of years, and this is part of it. Nihilism has gotten a lot more popular these days, and it's because of the sense... Part of it is because of the sense of futility. The sense of nothing's going to change, nothing's getting better, it's just getting worse. Because if you go with nihilism, nihilism allows you to just accept that everything's bullshit and you should just do whatever you want. It's not a bad way. It's not a bad way to cope. It isn't. My country is extremely frustrating right now. It really very much is. The previous version of this recording was me just screaming. Not really screaming. It was me ranting a lot more. And this version is me trying to compose those thoughts better and think them better. Because it was a lot of like yelling and saying things without much evidence behind them, which is just not helping. And this is the thing that's also frustrating is people say a lot of things without backing it up. And people just believe them. And it's just very frustrating because the thing is, you can say the same thing again and again and again and again and again. It's a rule of three. Eventually people just accept it as truth. For God's sakes, look at Alex Jones. For God's sakes, look at goddamn Rush Limbaugh. For God's sakes, look at InfoWars. These are things, and people who, and Brett Bart as well, they say actual lies over and over and over again. And it becomes truth. It's extremely frustrating. The fact that global warming is a political thing in the US is amazingly stupid. The way it should have been done is both parties work together against global warming, instead of it being one side believes and one side doesn't. Our political system's kind of effed, and it's not in a good way at all. And it's being treated too much like a sports thing, as a sports team, and it's really dumb. You should not be a Republican because it's what you've always been. You should be a Republican because you believe in these goddamn things. You should be a Democrat because you believe in these damn things. But you have people who are one side or the other because the rest of their family is or their friends are. They don't actually know what any of the damn policy is. They just picked it because that's what everyone else is. They don't know a damn thing. And that's not good. Your party should not be your home team. And then you've got centrists, and you have people who don't know what the hell a centrist is, and there's a lot of them. A centrist, a stupid, really bad centrist, is there are people, there are arguments on both sides of Nazism. There are arguments on both sides, on every issue. That's not what a centrist is. A centrist is, they look at the left, they look at the right, they look at all the arguments they can, they try to be as observant, as knowledgeable as they can be, and then you pick a goddamn lane. You don't abstain. That is not a centrist. That is a goddamn worm who won't pick a damn side. No matter what you do, you need to pick a side or else you're actually doing nothing. I look at the left, I look at the right, I decide, here's what I want to do. A centrist still votes. A centrist still does something. A centrist isn't, oh no, there's great sides on both sides, so I don't have to pick anything. No, you still vote. You still make a decision. You don't just say, there's good things on both sides, there's arguments on both sides, so I don't need to engage. That is not a centrist. That is a worthless person on the political spectrum. A centrist still has to pick something. A centrist still has to argue. A centrist still votes. If you're not voting, you don't really have a reason to be engaged in this. If you're going to be a future voter because you're not 18 yet, then fine, you can still, of course, engage in conversation about politics and everything. But if you have no interest in voting, if you have no interest in actually doing something politically, you should not engage in it at all. Because you're being worthless to everyone. Because you're not arguing anything. Not arguing anything at all. That doesn't help anything going forward. For or against, just pushing in some way, arguing for something, arguing against something. Arguing that both should just exist doesn't really do anything. Arguing for a side, arguing against a side, helping arguments develop, ideas growing from arguments. This is a good thing. This is something that a centrist can help do, besides the people on the left and the right. But someone who says there's just arguments on both sides to be had and doesn't actually contribute anything is worthless. And if you're doing that, guys and gals, I'm trying to implore you to actually make actual arguments. Because I'm getting irked. It's just irksome because I'm center left. That's how I see it. Because the left actually believes in science. But I try to see both sides. But both sides of Nazism, Nazis, guys. Are you kidding me? I would like to believe, even if I was freaking white, I would think this way. I see my white friends get bashed on for no good reason, and that's annoying. It certainly is. But being called a Nazi is never going to make them a Nazi. It doesn't work that way. Calling a black man a thug doesn't make him a thug, but it does make him pretty angry. Calling someone a Nazi is going to make them pretty angry, but it's not going to make them a Nazi. It's never going to make them a Nazi. Never going to make them a thug. In your eyes, they're a thug. In your eyes, they're a Nazi, but doesn't make them that actual thing, no matter how much you call them that. There are a lot of dumb things, and I could keep going and going and going and going and going and going, because there are stupid things on so many damn things. This is why Scar sometimes thinks of doing a daily vlog, because I could bitch every day, all day. But what good is that? What good is bitching all the time, right? We all do it anyway, but still, what good is it? I'd rather we not bitch all the time. But that's what these vlogs are, aren't they? These vlogs are here for me to get the feelings out, so they're not always there in my mind. It gets them out, so I'm not always thinking about it. Because if I think about it all the time, it's just going to make me a miserable human being. That's why I'm always for people giving their opinions. Even if I don't agree with their opinions, I'd rather you say them than not say them and have them bottled up inside and have them fester and become terrible things. All it does is tell me who I don't want to hang out with. That's all it really does. Alright, that's it for the vlog. I'm going long here for no good reason. We're all thinking about a lot of things, and some of us voice it, some of us don't, and I'm voicing it. And I don't know, I feel like we're getting worse. And it sucks. But there you go, that right there is the vlog, everybody. Let's have fun with a bunch of things. Did not mention, Hat in Time LP. This game is special. It's amazing. Oh my god. I can't wait for this LP to come out. Oh my god, this game there's something special about it. It's like a 7. It's above average. It's not amazing. It could be an 8. I love this game, but it's not a perfect game in any way. It's just above average, almost outstanding. Like it's a 7.5 kind of thing. I really like it. It's special. It's something magical, and I can't wait for that LP to come out. But there you go. That right there is the vlog. I had fun talking before watching. I had fun talking. I hope you had fun watching and listening, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time. And oh god, the anniversary's in 5 days. I didn't do anything special because of the damn flu. Well, at some point we'll do something special for the anniversary. 4-year anniversary coming up. See you next time.